Today we're going to learn the 2-octave G major and E minor scales on the violin. Let's go ahead and start with G major. You've probably already learned both octaves of the 2-octave G major scale, but we're also going to go over the 3rd octave in case you'd like to take your G major scale practice up an octave and play the high 2 instead of the low 2 octaves. So for the low 2 octaves, we start on our open G string, and then we just play the G major scale with this finger pattern on the low 2 strings, and then switch to this finger pattern on the high 2 strings, up and down 2 octaves. So that's going to look like this. Low second. Okay, now we'll go ahead and learn the high 2 octaves. For this one, you're going to start with the G on the D string. Now here you're going to shift to 3rd position, so going from C natural to D, 1st finger, and then whole step, half step for a 3rd position. So that's just a 1, 2, 3, 4 with a half step between F sharp and G, that's 3 and 4. Now we're going up for the 2nd octave, you're on the note A, 1st finger on the E string. You play 2 notes and then you shift to 5th position, so 1, 2, and then you shift to 1st finger. Whole step here. Now you've run out of fingers, but here you can just do a little extension to grab that G. So you're on F sharp. Just go ahead and push that 4th finger up to get the G, and then for the turnaround, you're just moving it back and forth. Shift here to the 2nd finger, and then over to the A string. Half step here. There's a couple of challenges in that high octave. If you're ready for that challenge, you're welcome to take your practicing up an octave. Let's go ahead and play it with a beat now. So we're going to go ahead and play it in quarter notes. We'll go ahead and start with the low 2 octaves, and I encourage you to play along with me. 1 beat per note. 1, 2, 3, 4. High 2 octaves, but we're going to go ahead and do 2 beats per note for this one. 1, 2, ready, and. Shift. Now we'll go ahead and move on to E minor, 2 octaves on the violin. We're going to start with the 1st finger on the D string, and then just remember that E minor has an F sharp in the key signature. That's it, everything else is natural. However, we also do play C sharp and D sharp ascending, and then descending, everything's natural except for F sharp. Okay, starting with E. And minors always start with a whole step and then a half step. Then we go A. Those are your 2 raised notes, C sharp and D sharp, that are going to be different going down. And then here, instead of playing 4th finger for the E, you're going to shift to 4th position, 1st finger. So 1st finger, and that should be you should have a harmonic there. And so that's a good way to check it. From here, you're going to go, this is E, so you're going to do a whole step, then a half step, then a whole step, and then first finger. Your turnaround is D sharp, which is a half step below the fourth finger. That's 4, 3, 4. And then change your finger pattern. It's not a very big change on the violin, but you move your third finger and your second finger down a half step. So and then shift down to third finger. So all together, it sounds like this. Okay, so just make sure that you're really being mindful of where the half steps are in each finger pattern. Let's go ahead and play it with a beat now. Because this one's got some tricky shifts in it, let's go ahead and do 2 beats per note. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Just remember, when you're first starting out with a new scale, especially one that has some kind of challenging shifts in it, play nice and slow, keep the fingers really nice and relaxed, be listening carefully and adjusting for pitch. And I'm not really even concerned about you playing the scale fast at this point. I'd rather you practice it really nice and slow, maybe with a beat in the background to really make sure that your fingers get used to the notes before you even think about starting to increase the tempo. Good luck.